States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, please watch over all of us as we make the decisions for the city of Boonville. Please guide us and lead us in a way in which will be pleasing to you and to the people of the city of Boonville. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call.
Howard.
Here.
Harville.
Here.
Elbert. Venable.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Bechtel.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Meadows.
We have quorum. Hearing of citizens' comments. Life-saving awards.
You have the portable microphone, or you can just talk there.
You think would help?
Teresa has it somewhere.
It's okay, you can just talk now.
Oh, sorry.
We're good.
We're trying to figure
You're
this out
fine.
up here.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'd like to take a few minutes tonight to recognize some officers getting medals for life-saving awards for things they did in the line of duty. I'll go through here and kind of read a synopsis of what occurred, and we'll give them an award. I'd like to first call Officer Ryan Litzinger. It's with great honor I recognize Officer Litzinger for a life-saving award in recognition of his extraordinary courage, composure, and selflessness in the line of duty. On May 6, 2025, Officer Litzinger responded to a distraught individual who is sitting on the Boonville Bridge barrier wall with his legs hanging over the edge, contemplating on jumping. Upon arrival at the scene, Officer Litzinger immediately assessed the danger and without hesitation and regard for personal safety took swift and decisive action to preserve the life of the individual. Officer Litzinger calmly approached the individual, communicated with him, and offered to help him for whatever was troubling him. After a few minutes, Officer Litzinger was able to gain the trust of the individual and assist him back on the roadway side of the bridge barrier. Thanks to Officer Litzinger's quick thinking, professional training, and calm demeanor under pressure, the individual survived the incident and was able to get critical mental attention. It is for these reasons I respectfully recognize Officer Litzinger for the life-saving accommodation for his exceptional bravery and unwavering commitment to protecting life. And there's your report. Next, I'd like to call Officer Matthew Nauman and William Smith. As with Officer Ryan Litzinger, I'm honored to recognize Officer Matthew Nauman and Officer William Smith of the Boonville Police Department for a life-saving medal in recognition of extraordinary actions in saving the life of an unresponsive individual in a medical emergency. On May 18, 2025, Officers Nauman and Smith responded to a report of a person who was not breathing and had no detectable pulse. Upon arrival, the officers immediately assessed the situation, initiated CPR without delay. Working together with precise urgency, they performed chest compressions for several minutes in an effort to revive the individual. Due to their immediate and sustained life-saving efforts, the individual regained a pulse and began breathing on their own before being transported for further medical care. It is without question that the quick thinking, teamwork, and proper application of their training directly resulting in saving a life. Their actions embody the highest standards of law enforcement and reflect the core values of courage, professionalism, and selflessness service. It is with great pride and deep recognition I recognize Officers Matthew Nauman and William Smith for the life-saving medal.
You want all three of them? Do you want to do all three of them up here? What? Do you want all three of them all three of them together? Yeah. Come on back.
Good thought. Matt, scoot over. There we go.
Oh, my.
Great job, guys.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, great job.
Thank you.
Approval of the minutes of the
I think we
July.
got, I think we got other citizen comments.
Oh, we have some.
Come on up.
All right. How are you? Tell us who you are.
I am Nellie Sims, and I live at 520 10th Street. And on the 18th, which was on a Friday night, I think it was, during the storm, there was a tree that fell over into my yard. Now, my yard, all of these years, we've been thinking that my yard, we have line where our yard is. But this tree fell from over there where we always thought was the city's, because that's actually where some of the, not sewage, but where the pipes and things are that goes down. But I had Jeff Ditto come over, and I was going to contact, must have been Mr. Bechtel, and I haven't yet, to come and look at that, because the tree is so tall, and like I said, this is my yard. The tree fell from this way, and it fell in my yard. And it's a tall tree also. A little bit more, it would have got my sewer pipe that we just put in about 5 years ago. And they said that would have been very bad. But who do I talk to have someone come and check it? Because I don't think, I'm pretty sure it's not mine. They did explain to me how they think it's mine. And also there's, this is not for me, but also on the same street, there's another tree, it's a big tree, and this fell on, it's across the street from me, and up the street also. And it fell on a guy's fence, I think, and I don't know if it damaged that or not. We all this time over there also have been thinking, when you see the trees, that's city property. And you see the gullies down there in mine, because we do have pipes and whatever that you put down to mark our property. And so I don't know what I need to do, but I need to find out if it is my property or not, and I really don't think it is.
And you've already spent some time with Jeff Ditto?
Yes.
Jeff's got some people up in that office up there that probably can help you. Jeff?
Yeah, I went over
Jeff.
there, she's got a map, I showed her the map.
Yeah.
GIS shows the map of the property,
The property,
that's up against the other property.
yeah, but that property, that
Right here.
other, yeah, I see that. It's
So it
not mine.
depends on where the tree is, if the tree's on this side of the property, it's yours, and if it's on this, it's this guy's. It's not a city thing, it's either this property or this property.
All that property that's behind us and that we never go to, I thought that's where the city was all these years, that's
No.
what they've been saying.
Well, you guys, anybody wants to see this, they can see there's a property line here. I highlighted it in blue, so it butts up against this property right here.
And where's the tree?
The tree's in the middle, right
All in
here.
my yard.
And I told her all the estimates she's got to measure out here to see if she wants, or else get a surveyor, survey it out and see if it is. It's the only way you can figure it out.
Yeah, because I know it's not my property.
So is it the property behind her?
Yes.
It could be either way. It's just like, to me, it's right on the border by looking at this map right here. Remember the
I remember.
building right there? So, I mean, it's just real close. That's what I say. It's gonna have to be measured out to see whose tree it's on.
I know it's not on mine.
Hey, Nellie,
Yes.
hey, what I can do is let me pull your legal description, the
Okay.
exact, so we can actually get the exact
Okay.
meets and bounds for your legal description.
Yes.
And then I can follow up with you, or I'll follow up with your council person.
Please. Yeah.
So we can at least define where it is and what the expectations
Please
are.
do that.
Okay.
Thank
You
you.
got her address?
Yeah.
Yep, he's got it.
You do have it.
I wrote it down anyways, if you need it.
Good plan. Because I forgot it already.
522.
Gotta sign in this.
Who is this gentleman?
Henry Hurt. I come here tonight and I have several things on my list, okay? I've got a list. I had a stroke or two, but I wrote this down. My wife rewrote it for me.
Don't forget to introduce yourself, even
I'm
though,
Henry Hurt.
there you go.
There's a few people I know on this council. I know Steve, and I know the mayor, and I know Kate, and I know Whitney, and I know Brad Woolridge. He played ball with, well, his son played ball with my grandson.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, what I need to talk about is, when are we gonna resurface some of these daggone streets? I mean, they're in a hell of a shape. I talked to Kate last year, and she told me they didn't have no money to do it, but they would do it this year. So when are we gonna do it? I hear you're gonna build a roundabout out there at McDonald's. I don't think you need a roundabout. I don't think there's room. When you take a big truck and go around that thing, I just can't see it. But anyway, when I went in to talk to Kate, and they said she was back in her office, so she must have saw me and ran out or something, you know. Anyway, she wasn't back there in her office, you know. And so I guess I called her, and then I've seen her a couple times. But we gotta get some streets fixed. This is ridiculous, you know. So, and the other thing is, you know, the only time I know anything about what's going on in this city is when I go to the dentist. He'll have a paper, you know, so I'll read the paper, you know, and usually they come and get me pretty quick. But the other thing is,
You want my glasses, Henry?
no, I got mine.
Okay.
I need to put them on. Then I do a yard in behind, what's his name? He lives on the corner of, he works for the city, and he cuts grass. What's his name?
Stuart Clark.
Yeah, Stuart Clark. And I mow a yard right behind him. And anyway, there's 2 drives to this place, and where the water comes down, you can't get water through either one of those places. So I want to know, how far back does the city's easement go? Does the city pay for any of that, or how's that work?
We can get a look at it.
All right.
Jeff, put it on your list.
How far back does it go?
Thank you, sir.
Without looking, I don't know. We'd have to look at it.
It's right on the street.
What was that address again, Henry?
I don't know what the address is. I see it every time I mow, but I don't know what it is.
Okay.
So we're gonna build a roundabout or not? Are we gonna build one, or
In concert
what do you mean?
with the state of Missouri.
Now, does the city go out that far? Does the,
Yeah, Henry, the city limits actually go out that far and across the interstate, but that particular program or project's already been approved by the council, and it was when Mayor had said it's in concert, we've received some state funding to allow us to do that,
so the city's not paying for that themselves?
Not exclusively, no. The reason that all came to be was because there were state funds available to improve that portion, and it was earmarked for that area for a
So
roundabout.
about how much is it that the city?
I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but
The city's match is 1.1, but we've applied for CDBG funds, so then it would bring down to about 700,000.
How much what?
1.1 million, but we've applied for CDBG funds to bring it down to 700,000.
How much is the CBD fund?
about 500,000.
500,000.
So are we gonna get some streets fixed this year or not?
Yeah, we have the Hickam, Rice, Reams, 6th and 4th on. They're starting in August.
South.
And South. And Poplar.
Aren't the streets reviewed every year? So if you have a list of what you're concerned with, you might match it up
I
with
think I
what
gave
they.
that list to somebody.
Uh,
I believe I gave that list to somebody. Because on Nelson Street between Main and 6th Street, it's just horrible. You know, you go through there and there's all those cuts. Drive it when you go home. You'll see what I'm talking about. But, you know, my son lived down on one of those streets.
yeah.
Before you get to the cemetery on the left. And I drive it, get into his place, and now he lives out on past the Roy Stevens' place out there in that new subdivision. And you go by there and it's just, you know, if there's 2 cars coming, the road along the side edge of the road is just falling off, you know, it's just horrible, you know. So I'd appreciate if you took care of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. It's good to see you, sir. Anybody else? Approval of the minutes of the,
I'll do it, Mayor.
We have one more.
We got one more.
oh, sorry about that,
That's
sir.
okay. My name is Guy Lanfear, and the reason why I've come here tonight is I would like to possibly bring a business to the area, but I'm just not quite sure how to do it. I think it would be in Ward 3, and the business would be a club, more like a cannabis club, a spot where you could actually do indoor consumption as opposed to just maybe walking in, making a purchase, and leaving. I don't drink. I think it would be nice to find a spot where you could actually go, maybe meet some other people who are into some other activities that don't necessarily revolve a bar. And it's becoming a much more socially acceptable thing to do. I think it would be maybe time to maybe jump on the bandwagon and see. I kind of have to live like in an underground world as a cannabis user. My parents would have no idea I'm here tonight, even addressing a city council, trying to think about bringing a business out. But I just feel like I want to do it now. I currently have been working with an organization called Mary Jane's in Ashland. I don't know if anybody's really familiar with it, but I believe it's one of the first cities in the state who'd actually changed anything or made some changes at the city level to allow such a business to exist. And it's really working. The city down there is really starting to see an increase in sales tax revenue. There's a lot of people that show up. On a Friday night, you could see 300 people who are all paying $5 a piece, to come in. They're buying food. They're hanging out. They're not really causing any trouble. According to the police department there, they've had much more trouble with any of the local just eating establishments, the restaurants that do serve alcohol. Only time I've ever even seen them on the presence was just for a check on New Year's Eve when it was just busy and they were out. The mayor is behind it. The city council obviously had been behind it. They'd been willing to take a look at changing some of the rules and regulations to make it happen. And the reason why I came tonight is I think I've actually found a pretty good spot to do this, and I'm kind of under like a 1 week crunch time thing to try to make it happen. There's a gentleman by the name of David Bruce that owns a property at 2580 South Main. It's currently occupied by a company called Grow Simple that will be shutting the doors after, I believe, about a 4-year stint this weekend. He believes he can get it rented immediately, and I've asked him for at least 1 week to maybe see what it might take to grease the wheels here to see if something like this might even be possible. He said he would hold the building as just kind of as standing right now to see if I could come to you guys with a proposal or a approach just to see if it might be something doable. I'm currently also starting another business right now in Sheraton County. It's right outside of Glasgow on Highway 5. There's an old liquor store there. Jeff Parks, he's on the city council there in Glasgow, owns the building. He's rented it to me, and I'm going to be opening one of the first THCA dispensaries in the state at that location. So there's a lot of activity in this area and a lot of demand for the products and activities related to it. And what I have found, if I can use a laptop for reference, was I really don't believe that it was too complicated what Ashland chose to do. After talking with a couple of the city council members down there and the mayor, they said, just give them an idea of basically what we did, and here's what I've come up with.
Sir?
Yep.
It's not to interrupt you just for
Sure.
a moment. My name is Brad Woldridge. I'm the city councilor.
Okay.
During the public comment section, traditionally, we're only limited to 5 minutes.
Sure.
So if I can stop you just for a second. We did update some of our ordinances about a year ago as they related to marijuana use and consumption within private property. I think the best place to potentially expand this conversation is to follow up with me directly. I can explain to you what the laws are now.
Okay.
And what the expectations are, so that if there was something to formally present to the council, we could actually put you on the agenda.
Very good.
I would be happy to look and review of what you have. I think the best place to start moving forward is if you look at the city website, you can find my direct email on there.
Yep.
Shoot me an email, and we can visit this week.
Okay.
So you can at least get back to Mr. Bruce saying, okay, I now know what the ordinances are. And this would be the expectations. And then we can circle back on whether or not you want to come up with a business plan to then present to the city.
Sure.
I think that's the best place.
If I've exceeded my time, yeah, I apologize.
Yeah, no.
So, and I guess maybe if you had one area where you could clarify, I had gone on the website trying to find just about whatever I could. I couldn't really find anything that clarified indoor consumption or legality, so maybe we could
then
clarify that.
I can get you, and I can, if we start an email exchange, I can get you the newest ordinances.
Okay.
As they regulate or
Yeah.
give discrepancy to property owners and
Yeah.
what businesses they want to operate.
Perfect.
So you can, because there is a little bit of wiggle room there now that wasn't there a year and a half ago,
Okay.
okay?
Very
I think
good.
that's the best place to start. I'd be happy to visit with you.
Hey, no problem. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, Brad.
Yep.
Anyone else? Approval of the minutes of July 7th, council minutes. Any questions, suggestions on the minutes? And then we'll stand as submitted. Item 5 is consent items. Consider pay app number 5 in the amount of $24,633 to Spectrum Environmental LLC for asbestos and lead abatement at the A&D Barracks at Fort Kemper Park.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion we approve the above consent item.
Thank you. Have a motion, got a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion and a second. Discussion. Questions?
What's our timeline of completion on that, Kate?
They actually are almost done. What's left is the demolition, so some of the abatement is gonna occur through demolition as opposed to removal. So we met with the developers last week, and they were working together to see if, the contractors we have also do demolition generically, so I think they're gonna give them a bid on that, and maybe it all just.
Yeah, you either want to maximize or minimize that depending on what it is.
Right, so they're, so I think they're kind of working in tandem together, and I did not hear an update, but that's all that's left. It's just, if you look, we're, probably 85 to 90% paid out, so it's almost done.
Great, thank you.
And Kate, will we make one lump sum payment when they're complete, or will we continue to pay on a disbursement?
There will be, probably, my guess is there'll be one more pay app, and then probably the contingency that we've been holding once
Yeah.
we get the clean. That was the other thing when we met with them, the, DNR has to come and do what they call wipe samples and like
Testing.
Testing,
Yeah.
and so, with any old building, it's like you wanna do all the cleaning right before they come, because it's just the dust it's really hard to have those older buildings pass even on the best of a day, so, they were trying to coordinate with the DNR too, so, and I don't know if that's occurred yet, but.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Roll call?
Coward,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Bechtel,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Passes. Item 6, presentation of accounts and claims on page 9.
Be it ordained by the council of the city of Boonville as follows. Section 1, for the purpose of paying salaries and various accounts against the city of Boonville, which have been allowed by the council at the regular meeting thereof on July 21, 2025, the sum of $918,363.39. General fund, $438,746.57. Sanitation, $23,958.60. CIP tax, $10,581.24. Waterworks, $228,274.43. Capital projects, $2,144.13. Wastewater, $160,762.65. Tourism, $7,434.71. Gaming, $1,553.13. Parks and Water, $44,907.93. Kemper sales tax, $0.00. Economic Development Project, $0.00. Section 2, the accountant is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $918,363.39, being the total amount of money being appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage, first reading on July 21, 2025, read for the second time this July 21, 2025, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading, title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mayor, I move that we approve this ordinance.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Coward,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Bechtel,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Passes. Item 7, unfinished business. Second reading of bill number 2025-014, approving a sublease with Cherry Road Media Incorporated at Katy Depot. It's page 10 through, I think, 27.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, approving a sublease for a portion of the Katy Depot to Cherry Road Media Incorporated for the office space, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Are we moving?
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the ordinance.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Questions? Comments?
How soon will this lease start once passed? No time.
It's all empty, so it's ready for them to move in.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Howard,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Bechtel,
Yes.
Young.
Yes. Okay, item B, under new business. First reading
We
of
got-
bill,
We're on new business A.
I'm sorry,
New business A first.
New business A first.
A, you're right, excuse me. I got ahead of myself. First reading of bill number 2025-015, approving a final site plan for 98 Investments LLC at 17120 Jackson Road. Starts on page 28.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, approving the final site plan for 98 Investments LLC located at 17120 Jackson Road, Boonville, Cooper County, Missouri, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
We go to a second reading on that, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Mhm. Item B, first reading of bill number 2025-016, approving a preliminary site plan for Ballpark Central on Jackson Road. Starts at page 44.
An ordinance of the City of Boonville, Missouri, approving the preliminary site plan for Ballpark Central located at Jackson Road, Boonville, Cooper County, Missouri, providing an effective date therefore, and repealing all ordinances in conflict with this ordinance.
Item 9, reports of standing committees. Boonville Housing Authority. It's on page 62. Any questions or comments? Item B, Planning and Zoning Commission. Any questions or comments?
Just a quick comment. It was our, we did go through the preliminary and the final site plan, which we discussed as for first reading. It was in the planning and zoning's opinion, we did move to approve that, dependent upon Scott's final review and approval.
Anybody else? Item C, Airport Board. Andrew?
Yeah, we had airport board meeting in June for the second quarter. We'll have another meeting in September. The notes are in the packet. Had good discussion from the Lochner team that's doing the updates on the taxiways. And come our meeting in September, that's when we can submit any proposals for future development at the airport. So, but all the details are in your packet, and we're meeting again in September.
All right. Any questions for Andrew? Local Agency Funding Committee. Drew?
So, yep, so we had a good meeting back on the 10th of June. We had 19 applicants, approximately $85,000 to be awarded. The committee did a great job going through all the different presentations throughout the night. And in your packet, it breaks down the requested amount awarded to. So again, thanks to Teresa and the committee for coming together. It's a really good group, seeing the community come together and make these presentations. And a lot of these things really contribute to our community. So
Good.
that's all I have.
Mr. Positive.
It's a good group, so.
Any questions for Drew?
One just for clarification, because I don't know, how are the funding awards determined? Is it just a committee vote?
It's a committee, yeah, they're presented to the committee, and then the committee makes a decision based on their presentation or the amount they're seeking or the project.
Okay.
So,
Reports of city officials. Mayor, I'd like to mention that we had a really good open house at the library, and some good work has been done there. I think we'd all like to see it happen a little bit faster, but it is happening. There's things getting done. And, for those of us that were in it from the days of knocking on people's doors to get them enthused, it's good to see things happen. City Administrator.
Just a couple things. So prior to this meeting, there was an open house hosted by MoDOT where they had laid out the expansion from Roach Park Bridge all the way to 101. And then there was also the boards with our roundabouts. The comments from most of the public were actually very positive about the roundabouts. The roundabout, most people felt that intersection needed some help. So those projects are all moving forward. They still plan to bid that out in January of '26. So likely the whole project, our project is getting looped into the I-70 expansion, will likely begin in the spring or early summer of '26. We have determined that we're gonna set a time frame on the roundabout project specifically separate. So whether, but we'll defer to the contractor, the low bidder, whether it's at the beginning, the middle, the end, or they may subcontract it out. So whatever they want to do is what we'll do, but likely I would say it's probably going to be somewhere between 90 and 150-day contract just for the roundabout, so that way the disruption to Main Street is kept to a minimum. And then I was going to have, Paul was going to come up here and talk about the bleachers at Harley Park. So he was on vacation, so I forgot to include his information.
Who said you could have vacation?
Just seemed like one of them things my wife thinks I need to do.
I wondered if that was the motivation.
First off, I'll just give you all a little bit, most of y'all are aware of the bleachers out at Harley Park for the Little League field. So I got some pictures, and this was not actually a planned event. It's been planned for a while, but it wasn't planned because, to be honest, I didn't have any idea what kind of cost it would even be. And only after sending out for inquiries, I had one company that actually sent me back a quote.
Do you want me to pass those around for you?
If you want to, yeah, that'd be awesome.
We love
Thanks, sir.
But basically, I took pictures of the bleachers, and that's what that's just showing you the
Excuse me.
way the bleachers look today,
sir.
which are in pretty disrepair. They're pretty bad, and if you all have ever been out there, they're not really that safe for all the people that have to go up and down them. There's no railings, there's no nothing, basically. So it's kind of a sad situation. But and just to replace the boards that are there now, even if we went that route, it's going to cost around $5,000. So if you look, this company, Game Time, which we do a lot of business through Game Time, and they're going to put in, if y'all approve all this, they're going to put in bleachers that are aluminum bleachers with railings and steps and handrails and everything for $30,000. Well, it's a little over $30,149. I know that may seem excessive, but like I say, I had no idea when I sent out these inquiries what the cost would even be anyway, so. But we need to do something, so whether you approve it or not, that's totally up to you guys. But I had put in for $15,000 in to replace some more of the fencing, but I'd be willing to do away with the fencing, put that towards these bleachers to get this done before we can have it for the next fall season. Because if we wait again till next year, I'm gonna have another season, so we're gonna have to replace the board, so we're gonna have to put $5,000 in it one way or another to be able to use them next season, so.
No,
That's what I'm bringing to you tonight.
all right, no new pictures of the new bleachers?
I don't have pictures, I've just got, there's a diagram in there.
Saw a diagram.
Paul, at the bottom of this quote, it says, materials only. Quotation does not include any site work, offloading, storage, safety surfacing, stuff like that. Do they build them or are they complete when they?
They'll install, it's all, installation is included when they put it all in. The only thing we have to do is tear out the old set and make sure the ground is level. It doesn't
Gotcha.
have to have concrete.
Okay.
Part of it does and part of it does not, but it has to be level is the only thing we have to do.
Okay.
What's the age? Do we have any idea on the age of the current bleachers?
The boards were replaced about 15 years ago.
I'm pretty
Now,
sure they're the
the
same ones that I
bleachers-
used.
Yeah, the bleachers have
Yeah,
been
they were
there
there
a long time. I couldn't
60
even-
years ago.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you how.
Well,
There was a section that was added on where the concrete is, that section was added probably about 25 years or so ago, maybe. But
well, if everyone, I mean, this is a related topic, but in the packet, it talks about all the people that were at the park this last month.
Yeah.
I had people come up to me knowing I'm on city council and just asking about this very topic. And I actually saw a little girl fall through the things and
very
she was
unsafe.
not really doing anything wrong. So, I know we're not looking, I don't think we're looking for a motion. If we are, then more power to us. But it's something I think is long overdue and
It is.
something I would definitely support.
We'll just put it on for a resolution at the next meeting.
like I said, I would have actually voted for it, but really I had no idea what it would even cost, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and like I said, going to aluminum, I think is the only thing we can do.
yeah.
Like I said, there's hundreds of people out there and stuff happens. And honestly, we're probably one really bad fall from
The
something else.
cost of that, that's exactly what it is.
So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good point.
it's something that I think is,
When I sent out the inquiries, they was tearing out the bleachers out at the high school to replace those, and we thought maybe we might be able to use those, but there was no way we can make them work, because they were all straight, and as you can see, ours has two different corners on there, there's no way, it had to be a custom design, so,
yeah.
anyway. Anybody got any more
Is there a
questions?
roof on this one?
What's that?
Is there a roof on this one?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, there's no roof.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right, and then, thank you for the segue, Andrew.
Yeah. no problem.
Jim was gonna come up and talk a little bit about the Placer AI data. I just thought it was kind of interesting. It just happened that weekend was a big weekend. I don't know if it's always the third weekend or second weekend in July, but for events in terms of sports tourism that are really locally driven sports tourism, not necessarily some bigger things, so.
Mayor, council, you just saw my memo to Kate in there. So there were 3 simultaneous events last weekend. The city subscribes to a data service that allows us to capture visits, and it's a very thorough software. And so how do they do that? They track cell phones. So this tracks not cell phone usage, but it tracks individuals by the cell phones being within the area. So this data that I put together for you from last weekend, you can see that there were 9,200 visits generated by 6,678 individuals to those 4 venues last weekend. Now, I can't tell you exactly who was from where, and like the Rolling Hills, my understanding is that there was a rain out, so some of those people played. There was a baseball games played at the high school, which would overlap with the Missouri Soccer Park data. So it's a little dirty data capturing, but I would say the average citizen wouldn't know that almost 7,000 people were focused on those 3 events over the weekend. So Kate asked me to put this together to show you what kind of volumes our park facilities are seeing on a high-use weekend, and it just so happened we had a high-use weekend. So, but we can collect similar data on other events in town. Heritage Days saw about, and again, I don't remember, but I mean, it was several thousand people in town for Heritage Days, those kinds of things. So, Kate, I don't know if there's anything in specific you wanted me to address,
You guys
or
have any
if you all have
questions?
any questions. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
I just for your clarification, nobody asked in appropriations why we spent so much money, so.
I was going to. Yeah, I know, that's the same thing.
Anyways, but just so you
Didn't
guys
think I
know,
knew enough about
a
asking
couple high things. So one, we made a down payment on the fire truck that's coming out of the general fund. In the water and wastewater, there was some water meters in there, which we kind of buy in gluts. And then also we were doing we had a leftover bill from Alliance, which I'm not throwing you under the bus, but it was a chemical overage from the last fiscal year, so that finally rolled over. And then lastly, in the parks and stormwater, there was a little stormwater repair project, or projects actually, that are encapsulated in that parks and water fund. So if you were wondering why it was a little higher, that's why.
Thank you, Kate. City Clerk,
Nothing.
City Councilor.
Just very briefly, in the interest of time, several months ago, if you'll remember, there was a dangerous buildings hearing that was scheduled, and we were able to circumvent having to have that hearing by agreement, and there was consent judgments and orders entered at that time. That deadline to address the dangerous conditions themselves is coming up on, I believe, August 1st. It's my understanding Kate will not be at the first August meeting, so I'm going to circle back and follow up with the council at that time on the progress. Steve, I'm going to catch up with you between now and then as well to see what is still has not been addressed. Hopefully, we've got some remedies coming. Otherwise, we're going to have to come back to the table to decide what to do. So that's all I've got, Mr. Mayor.
Well, that was real positive.
Yeah, end on a bang.
Any other miscellaneous?
Mr. Mayor, I have 2 points of miscellaneous.
Yeah, speak up.
I said, Mr. Mayor, I have 2 points of miscellaneous. One, I wanted to, the city actually went and did sealing on a road behind me. I did have a citizen over on Wayland that was very happy about her road being redone. I just wanted to point that out. They did a great job sealing that street for her. I did have another citizen that brought up a complaint. It was on, and I don't know what kind of effect we have over it, but it was over on the ponds behind Dollar Tree, back off of Boone Village Drive. They are very green and scummy right now, very, very bad. I don't know what, I mean, I know that chemicals, we've treated ponds before. Those ponds are disgusting. So I'm not sure what we can do about trying to clean them up, but people don't want to walk around them now, so.
Are those ours?
I believe they are the cities,
City lakes.
yes. So I'm not sure what we can do, but I'm telling you, ducks don't even want to get down into them. Yeah, go ahead.
The one pond, the bigger section, we are putting some chemicals in this week. They were supposed to do it last week, but I was gone on vacation, so it didn't happen. The smaller portion is so shallow, there's not much we can do for it.
So it's the bigger one
But
only?
the bigger section is, we are putting some chemicals in that this week, so we'll take care of that. And it takes a little time and it's very expensive too, so.
Yeah.
And just as you're aware too on those, I don't know if you ever looked on those 2 ponds there.
I've fished in them before.
Yeah,
But
but the city owns maybe about 3 or 4 feet all the way around them. That's the only thing we don't even really have access to even get in there to mow them, actually. It's very difficult to even get in there unless we go on Boone Village's property and come around, so.
Right.
I just wanted people, a lot of people aren't aware of that, so.
I'll point it out to the people that came to
But,
me.
we're definitely gonna put some chemicals in this week, so,
Good deal.
just so you know.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, just a quick comment regarding the gentleman's concerns or proposition about his business on the marijuana thing. So Brad, just keep me in the loop on that.
Yeah.
I was doing some research and it says it depends on the area to allow consumption in public, so.
Well, that's why I wanted to kind of.
It's not
follow up.
specifically prohibited, so I guess if you could maybe let us know what happens around that.
Yeah, the primary issue, just briefly, because I'll follow up with him, is the way we wrote the ordinance was to give discretion to business owner and property owner to protect their private interest rights, because we regulated marijuana in the same fashion that we regulate alcohol consumption. So the idea was that if it was going to be done within a building or a property or business owner could give permission within that building, which would then deter people from Maine and Morgan, because they can say it's legal. Well, not outside, the same way I can't crack a Budweiser at Maine and Morgan. So that's where the idea behind the ordinance came from. Now we're gonna have to look at zoning and whether or not it fits into that area. That's why I wanted to expand the conversation outside of the council so I could properly advise.
So just a quick question, maybe you don't know the answer, because I certainly don't, but if someone wanted to do an establishment like that outside of city limits, but say in the county, what, is it possible? I mean, I
Yeah.
guess you can,
Yeah,
right?
and it can be done within city limits pursuant to the
Our
ordinances we
ordinance,
passed
yeah, okay.
last year. But a lot of it's gonna come down to regulating in the same manner, the way I wrote the ordinance, it's gonna be regulated in the same manner that we would regulate alcohol.
Yeah. With the property owner's consent and the business owner's consent, yeah.
And restrictions on what else they can do there, I assume?
Yeah, but some of that's gonna fall under state statute.
Right. I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at, that's the gray
Yeah,
area, right?
we can be more restrictive than the state statutes. We can't be less restrictive. So if state statutes governing a particular part of that business plan, they've got to follow that. The way our ordinances are written now was the idea of regulate it like alcohol, because it's getting taxed like alcohol. Treat the business like alcohol with the same expectations with law enforcement, that it's not going to be out in public. We talked about 5 years from now, we'll have to circle back and talk about whether or not you could get a permit for a shelter house. When I spoke before the council before, I said, we're not there yet.
Okay.
So.
Fair enough. Okay, great, thanks.
Clear?
Ish? Yes.
Well said. Thanks, Brendan.
Yep.
Anything else? Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second, got a motion and a second?
Yep.
Vote with your feet.